Now, here's always my prayer. My prayer is that Jamie does not know that I'm doing this, and neither of the boys. So God knows what you will hear. Like, did you all hear the one message when Hayden was like, who pooped in here? Like, hot mess. There's just no filter. I'm sorry. So I wrote notes, you guys, because this could just be, here's the deal. Is it recording? We hope so. Okay. So behind the scenes, some of you know this, some of you don't know this. This summer was just awful. It was like the most, and I say this because I don't want your sympathy, because honestly, there have been some really tremendous breakthroughs and ahas that have come through, and Celeste has been like my discipleship partner through most of this. So she's heard my wanderings and musings and whinings and complainings and cries like all summer long. So most of this will not be new to Celeste. I'm so glad you've been with me on the journey, Celeste. She's like my sister, you guys. But hey, Megan, yay. There is something that happens when your life becomes an upside down train wreck. You either get destroyed by the train wreck, or you have the greatest clarity of your life of what is most important. And I feel like along the journey, as I have been getting a lot of clarity, a lot of gratitude about what in the world is this thing that God gave me nearly 4 years ago. I'm going to ask that you mute yourselves because I'm horrible at technology and I'll just booger it all up if you wait for me to do it. So you just have to do it. But almost 4 years ago, I had zero idea of what I was getting into. You guys, I had zero idea. All I knew was that I was so sick. I was so hopeless of feeling better. And we were drowning in medical debt that was all mine. And so I said yes, just like you guys did. I said yes to someone I barely knew. You guys, many of you know this. It was like, it went down like a drug deal on the cities of small Dutch Orange City on somebody's driveway. I exchanged money for a brown paper bag of goods. I am not kidding that I did not know what I was doing, but what I did know was I could not continue feeling the way that I did. I could not. That was not God's plan for my life. That's not how this was going down. And so I did what every God-fearing wife does. I did not tell my husband, and I put it in the back of the cupboard behind dishes so that Jamie would not see it. I am not kidding. And I started sneaking it every morning after he went to work, until one day he found my stash and was like, "What the heck is this?" And I was sweating profusely because we didn't have the money for me to be buying Magic Pink Mojo juice. But I knew 3 weeks in that I was feeling so much better. You know the story. I was in the produce section of my grocery store on a Saturday morning without my children, and I started to cry because I wasn't in pain anymore. And then I thought to myself a few weeks later, as I laid in my bed, still drowning in medical debt from all of the exploratory surgeries and the doctors who told me there was nothing that they could do. And I laid there in the morning covered in sweat, crying out to God, "This is not how this story is going down. This isn't how this is going down, not for two private business owners trying to do the American dream for their family, building a business from scratch. This isn't how this is going to go down." And so I waddled across my house to my computer in the middle of the night, and I looked up a compensation plan that I didn't understand and a business I didn't want any part of. But what I did know is I didn't want to be away from my kids anymore, and I didn't want their dad away from his boys. And I sat in front of the computer and I said, if people can do this, why not me? I was scared to death, and I thought to myself, I just started a business and I live in a small town where people talk crap about people all the time. And my therapy business is built on people trusting me and my name. And now I'm going to post stuff on social media that could clearly have people talk crap about me and might take down my business that I just started. But I'm doing it anyway. I had no idea then that this would grow into a business that, honestly, nearly 4 years later, when again my family is facing the same sort of garbage with the same doctors saying the same things and the same medical crapola, that the only thing that would keep us from drowning would be plexus. And so I've been digging my heels in, and I've been asking God a whole lot of questions. Celeste knows I've been asking God a whole lot of questions. And what I keep coming back to is this. God gave me this business because he knew where I would be 4 years later. And he knew that I would need the community of women that I have. And not only that, he knew that he would be taking me on a journey that would lead to wholeness and passion. You see, I didn't understand the things that I love most is I love working with people who have drive and ambition. I love working with people who want to better their lives, that don't want to show up as victims in their life, but they want to work to make their lives better. If you sat across from me as a client, one of the chief questions that I will ask early and often is, do you want to get well? Now, I'm not the person who coined that phrase. Jesus Christ is the one that coined that phrase. To the lame man beside the pool of Bethesda, he said, do you want to get well? I love to work with people who want to get well, who want their families to have a better way, and who are willing to show up every day and work for it. Those are the people I love to work with. I always have. I always have. I love to coach. I love to push in the butt. I love to create vision and stories. I love to have people have a better, different way than traditional healthcare that isn't about healthcare at all. It's about sick care. And I'm sorry if there's nurses on here, don't be offended. It's just the way it is. I work in healthcare too. I love this. So I wrote down, this is really about creating a series, you guys, because what I've seen in the last 4 years is the people who stick around. Well, to be honest, we're all a little crazy. The people who stick around and do this work every single day with consistency, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's really, really hard. But you guys, it's hard in all the right places. And I'm going to explain that. This work is hard in absolutely all the right places. I feel like it's all the trigger buttons that need to be pushed in order for us to grow in the ways that help us to grow in the direction I really do believe that God calls us in. The other day I was talking with a friend of mine, and he came to my town in Orange City, and he had a great vision of something that he knew would change lives. And you know what happened, you guys? He started to change lives with his vision, but then you know what started to happen? It got really hard. And his passion and his vision, this vision that he was creating that he said was for everyone, he began to backpedal and say, oh, I don't think it's for everyone. Maybe it's just for a certain some. Maybe it's only for a certain subset. Maybe we need to pre-qualify people whether or not this is a good thing for them or they will flourish for them. And you know what, you guys, I got really mad because that's what I see happening over and over and over and over again with teammates that join and have fervor when they begin. They see it. They can feel it. They catch a vision of something bigger. And joy is here. Anyway, that is bigger and greater. They catch a vision. And then somewhere along the lines, you know what happens? The dopamine stops flowing and it gets hard. And it starts pushing on all the right hard places. The right hard places and all the places that people have given up on themselves umpteen different times in previous places in their life because it got hard. So we're going to talk about that hard for a minute. Tonight, I said, is about mindset and it's about heart set. Because honestly, this makes all the difference on whether or not this business is for you over the long haul or if you burn out real short. Okay, so here it is. And if you can mute yourself, that'd be awesome. Okay, so when I was talking to this friend, I started thinking, is that how I feel about Plexus? Do I feel like people need to be pre-qualified? Is this only good for some people? Some certain people with certain qualities or certain gifts? Is doing Plexus and sharing Plexus only for a select few? I don't think you'd want a leader who says yes to any of those questions. I think you want a leader who says no. Here's the deal. This is for anybody. This is for everybody. You don't need to be pre-qualified to do this work. You know what you need to do? You need to be willing to be pushed and pressed in all the right hard places and refuse to give up. It's for anyone who begins this journey, but so many people give up when it gets hard. What gets hard? I was making a list of the core root things that get really hard about doing this work. And I think I boiled it down to 2 core things. Because I think if we get beyond the I don't have time and I'm not that kind of person, I just don't sell stuff. No, beneath all of that, 2 things. You ready? Nod your head if you're ready. Okay, 2 things. 1, if we boil down all the things to their core, first thing is, I am not enough. I don't know enough. My voice isn't that important. What I have to say, nobody cares to hear. Nobody cares what I think, what I value, what I believe. It's not enough. I don't know enough people. I am not enough. That lie, I promise you, if that's what you tell yourself about Plexus, that's what you've been telling yourself about nearly everything that is an important invitation in your life. You've disqualified yourself from all the scary, hard stuff. I'm not enough. It's a lie. It's a lie. I used to tiptoe around this. I don't anymore. If you believe in a God who loves you, who put his fingerprint on you, who made you with his design and implanted himself within you, that's bull. He made you enough. He declared you enough. When he created you, you know what he said? He stood back and he looked at you and he said, it is good. It is good. That was his declaration statement over you and your life. It is good. You are good. Now there's a whole messy middle part where all the things go wrong, and most of us dwell in the messy middle part, but we forget the very end part. And Celeste knows how imperative this 3-sentence word has become in my life over the last few months. Are you ready for it? These are the most powerful 3 words that have ever been spoken, following it is good. Are you ready? It is finished. All the BS that you tell yourself, all the lies and the garbage and not enough and brokenness and not comparing and not adding up has been put to death with it is finished. Because the only one that matters looks at you with nothing but love and compassion and passion for your life. And he declares, you are mine, you are good, and you are enough. Anything other than that is bull. Bull that you've learned over your life through narratives that tore you down and broke you apart and hurt you and embedded themselves as a part of your internal narrative, that they are not true. And they were told to you and shown to you by people who didn't show up in the way they needed to for you. And they are lies. So if we're a part of this team that lives love, we're not going to buy that garbage. And we're going to learn how to live a different story that says, in, through, and all things, through him, we are more than conquerors. We are enough. The second lie, the second thing, the largest thing that gets in our way besides I'm not enough. You ready? I'm too much. I'm too good. I'm too good for that. Look at there's Jamie. The second lie is I'm too good for this. That's so beneath me. I'm not that kind of a person. Good for you. God bless. You know what that is, my friends? That's pride. That's pride. And you know where we wear pride? To cover up our fear. That's where we wear pride. Have you looked around at the people who are sharing plexus? Have you took a good look at them? Do you know them personally? Do you know any of them personally? Would you care to have coffee with them and stand eye to eye and think you're better than them? Because I look around at the crowd of women who proudly share plexus each and every day to support their families and their dreams and aspire in so many big and beautiful ways. And I'm so proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. I am so proud to keep company with them and to hear their vision and their dreams and their hearts. I'm so proud to be amongst these women that aren't about stature, that aren't about being better than. I'm so proud. But to say I'm better than any of those people, which by the way I did when I started, thought I was better then because I had a real job. Did you see Hayden outside, babe?
He's not in the house yet?
No, will you get him?
Is Carson in?
Nope.
They're both outside?
Yep.
Well, there's lights on in the basement. I figured that's
See if Carson is downstairs. I don't even know where my children are. God bless. Okay.
Carson, what are you doing?
I'm going to shut the door. Hold on.
Hey, turn it off now. You got homework?
Those are the two biggest barriers. Those are where I see people on their plexus journey combust and break down and give up. That's the crux, those two things. Doesn't get any more complex than that. So what I propose is that we're going to spend a little time on those two things over the next few weeks. breaking them down and rebuilding them. We're also going to dig in. We're going to dig in. We're going to do a deep dive into some hard topics. I didn't come up with these. Celeste did. I'm calling her out. Hard topics. What do I really believe about MLMs? What do I really believe about them? What do I really believe about making money from sales? What do we really believe about that at our core? Do we cringe? Ugh. Ugh. We're going to do a deep dive about that. What do we believe about who is this available to and who is it not? Is it truly something that everyone, I already gave my thoughts away about it, but we'll do a deeper dive. Is this really something that anyone can do and everyone can do? And do you have to sell your soul to the devil to do it? For me, I think in this 4 years that this has absolutely been the pathway to my greatest growth. I was talking, actually, I got this message from Dawn Zomerman, who's 2 levels above me. And she said, Rachel, there's a noticeable change about you. Like you're so different than how you were when you first started. That's inevitable when you face fear every day. You change. You change. I think for me, it's been like this. This is work. It's work. It requires a laying down daily of those 2 lies. In order for you to show up, it requires for you to lay down the and to die. I'm not enough. Put that to death. And that I'm better than. It requires you to put to death what do people think as the main object, the main thing in your life. To me, it's like provision. It's provision in the best sense of the word, because it's God laying out his blessing like breadcrumbs, which I think is one of his favorite ways. I love reading about how God provided for the Israelites who were a hot mess, which is all of us. We're all a hot mess. Isn't that true? Like you wake up and you're convinced, like, I'm confident. Today's great. Today's good. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do stuff. And then within a matter of minutes, what happens? You're like Israelites wandering in the desert. Why am I doing this? This is so stupid. Like nobody even, like all the lies start happening, right? Like the Israelite people. Why are we here? Why did we leave captivity? Why did we leave Egypt? That was so stupid. At least we had food, right? Wandering around and then saying, at least we had food. And then what do you know? What does God provide? He provides food. But how does he provide it? He provides it in the morning. And the Israelites have to get out of their cozy tents and they have to what? They have to gather it up. They have to actually bend down and pick it up. And then what did those crazy Israelites try to do? Hoard it. So that they wouldn't have to depend on God every single day to provide enough. They tried to hoard it and store it. And what happened? Maggots. it all rotted. Every day we get the opportunity to wake up, to know that God will bless us. The blessing isn't, by the way, always a yes. The blessing is showing up and doing the hard and saying, I'm enough and I'm not too much. And God blesses us along the way. We pick up the manna. We get out of our tents, out of our comfort zones, and we face the hard, scary world. I love that there is great reward available to all. We'll talk about that in another time. But I think that most fail because they fail out of three things. Because they refuse to dream big. You guys, the dreams that you have that you're afraid to utter out loud, because you have them, although some people are even too afraid to dream anymore. But the dreams that you have in your heart that you're too afraid to say out loud, who do you think gave those dreams to you? We're meant to dream. We're meant to pursue those dreams and not to feel guilty or ashamed or self-centered. We're meant to have dreams and we're meant to pursue them. The people who fail with this business refuse to dream. They refuse to grow. They want to just stay the same. And I think it's Abby Kappa who says, if you gave up this crazy business today or tomorrow, you'd probably feel relieved because you'd go back to what is safe and easy and predictable. It's easier not to do this work. But just because it's easier doesn't make it better. They fail at this work because they refuse to dream, they refuse to grow, and lastly, they refuse to do the work because it is work. It's not a gift, it's not easy. Sacrifice never is. And in order for you to obtain a dream, you've got to do great sacrifice. Sacrifice requires fire, and it requires pain, and it is hard work. And through doing the hard day after day after day, pretty soon you don't even recognize who you are anymore. In the best possible way. It's 8:30, and where we're going to stop today is I'm going to have us watch something together, and I hope you'll watch it again on your own. But I want you to watch it, and I want you to ask yourselves, what if this really is a divine appointment? Because anything that is for your growth, I believe that God is in it. What if God is really handing you this package, this gift-wrapped gift in plexus? He's giving it to you. Right. He's saying, I see something in you. I see where you could run with this gift. You could change the world. You could change the world. You could change life after life after life with this gift. What would that mean? So let's watch this. I always get a little angsty whenever I have to share the screen. So let's just, come on, technology, let's do the thing. Okay, so I'm going to share screen. And I don't know what screen I want to share. Hold on. Hold on. I had this all queued up and now I can't find it. Just a second. You're also patient with me. Maybe. Good grief. I'm getting close. Those are nice shoes, by the way. I think that store is in Des Moines. There's a lot of you that are closer to me, closer than me than that. Aha, there we are. Oh, it was right there all along. Huh, okay.
Parable about the servant who buried his gift. You know that one? It comes after the one with the boat and the animals, and it comes before the one with the cross. You know, the master who entrusted 3 servants with talents, and the talents might have been gifts or they might have been gold, and 2 servants ran off and made them into something greater. I don't know where those characters are. But one servant dug a hole for the thing he was given. If you didn't know that one, now you do. So this is the story about the guy who buries his. This floor isn't dirt, and digging won't actually do anything. And they probably didn't have wrapping paper in ancient Israel, but it's still that one where something gets buried. Except in this one, it's a woman. Sorry if that gets confusing. Nope, this is the one where she apologizes less. This is the one about the woman who buries her gift. It's a story about a woman from outside Chicago. It's a story about a woman who grew up in the church. It's one about a woman who keeps choosing rather painful shoes. This is the woman who got a gift and decided the best place for it was in the ground. But to bury the gift, she needed a shovel. She definitely didn't have a shovel. She lived in an apartment. The only shovel she could ever remember having was the one she used long ago to build castles at the beach. That shovel had been good to her. It would do just fine. So she went and borrowed a shovel from herself at age 9. She went back in time or something. This is a story where things like that can happen. So now here she is with all that she needs to bury this gift when she hears a voice from behind. "What are you doing?" said the voice of a girl who was 9. The girl had followed her back. The woman could have picked a more secretive spot, but this is the one where she didn't. "I'm digging a hole." "Why?" "For this gift." "Why?" "To bury it." "Why?" "Because." "Why?" Because why? Why would you bury a present?" The girl looked at her someday self like she was an alien. "Someone gave you a present and you're not even gonna open it?" The woman looked at the girl that she used to be and said a thing she swore she'd never say. "You'll understand when you're older." And would you believe it? In this story, the little girl proceeded to grab the present. "No way, I'm opening it." The woman lunged. No, the girl held fast. A tug of war. This is the one where the little girl is way stronger. She says, "Look at my muscles. I'm fastest in my class." Her shoes look way more comfortable, and with her hair pulled back, she is free in a way that the woman forgot that her body could be. The girl makes a silly face. The woman is startled to remember she had ever been so expressive. The girl is winning. You can tell she's used to it. She says what she needs. "Give it to me, please." And she says this so deep and so loud and so bold, the woman can't believe a voice like that had ever belonged to her. The girl says, "Come on, I want to show it to the Collins." Oh, this story has 2 Collins in it, Colin O and Colin S, the 9-year-old's best friends. The 29-year-old lets go of the box. She had forgotten they were in her story. How are they, Colin O and Colin S? And the 9-year-old proceeded to tell the story of how many touchdowns the three of them had scored that day, how Colin O could pass it to her way down the field, how she almost always caught it, how Colin S was their team captain, how every day at recess they chose their teams, how they knew they'd play together every day, but how they made sure to choose each other every day anyway. This story made the woman who was older feel desperately homesick. The girl was off to see the Collins, and they showed each other everything. Colin S had a new football, and the girl wanted to show him her gift, too. But this is not that story. This is the story about the woman who buries it. The woman said, "You can't show this to anyone." The girl said, "Why not?" The woman said, "This gift is dangerous." The girl said, "Cool." The woman tries again. They might not want it, or they might pretend like they want it and never open it. Or they might like the idea of you having it and not know what to do with it. The girl says, "But is it a good gift? It looks like a good gift." The woman says, "Yeah, I thought so." And the girl starts to head off to show Colin O. The woman panics. See, this is the story where she buries her gift, but this one comes after the one where it was rejected. And that one comes after the one where it was returned. The 9-year-old doesn't know the stories that led to this one, this decision to dig. How do you wind up in the story you're in? It wasn't all up to her. It was all always being written by other people, too. That girl must be stopped before she winds up in the one we've all heard before. They might destroy it, the woman calls after her. They did that once. You really will understand when you're older. That gift is better in the ground than in pieces. The girl stops. She says, "I'm sorry that they destroyed your other gift. I'm so sorry that happened." The woman breathes. There has never been one where that has been said. They consider the gift. And the woman who is 29, the woman who is me, the woman I am now, who can't see down the road quite as much as she'd like, about to decide where to put her minutes and her might, her words, imagination, her ideas and real laugh, her hands, her high fives, her silly, if she can get it back, her competitiveness that might make people slightly uncomfortable, but the way she can run when she's in shoes that are comfortable, her presence, leadership lists, all of her gifts, the woman who wants so badly to play on a team, but with a voice she left behind at 9. The woman who can't resurrect her 9-year-old mind now that she's heard all these ones with bad endings. And though she still loves the one who gives her these presents, what if she brings them to the very house of his presence, only to discover that... How do you wind up in the story you're in? Could this be a story where it matters that I have this? Could this be one where someone holds it like it's holy? Could this story have more Collins in it? Or Bens or Robs or Dans? Could this be one where they pass me the ball? Could this be one where I call for the ball? Good stories have great teams. The best ones have I see yous and I'm sorry's and we got this and you nailed that and we failed that and teammates that choose each other day after day. Could this be one of those? I thought this was the story about the woman who buried her gift, the 9-year-old says in a smart alecky way that only 9-year-olds can. The woman must remember to apologize to her mother later for being such an irritable child. How did she wind up in this story? It wasn't all up to her. It was all always being written by other people, too. But she was carrying a shovel. If you don't want to be in the one that takes place underground, you could ditch the shovel. Step into the light. And this is that story, actually. This is that one.
What happens if this is that story. What if you've each been given a gift? And it comes after so many other gifts that you've been given that you learn time and time again to bury because of what other people might think or what they might say or how they might squash a dream or a passion or a purpose. What if this was a story where you didn't bury this gift, but instead this gift freed you up to rediscover so many other gifts that have been buried for so long? And over time, you begin to recognize you're adventurous and you're brave and you're smart and you're playful and you're funny and you're a good leader and you're fearless and you're a good friend and you're a great teammate and you celebrate successes and you grieve losses, and all the while you hold your gift out for the whole world to see and you share it with other people. And you know, some people will say yes to your gift and some people will say no, and that's okay because they weren't the giver of the gift to begin with. So it's okay if they don't want it, because the one that gave you the gift, he's always on your side. He's always on your side. I will post this video for you to watch as many times as you want, for you to reconsider as many times as you want. What are the gifts? Is this a gift? What happens if you dare share it? I love you all so much. And Celeste knows I don't want to be, I'm an overfunctioner, so we're classic overfunctioners. We want to make this work for you. I want you to say yes, and I want you to do this with mad ambition and passion and fearlessness and not give up on yourself. But the truthful answer is I can't do it for you. I can't overfunction and take over this for you. And you don't want me to. Because it's through the work that you free up all the blessing. So I'm going to leave on that note. Know that we're going to dig deep in the next few weeks on all of those different areas. And in fact, we're going to even have a couple of freebie coaching sessions if you want for individually to work through some of the old autopilot crappy ways. Because sometimes you have to do that work a little individually. I'm not your counselor, but I'll coach you through. And Celeste will help me because she's an excellent co-coach. But in all the ways, I can't wait for you to uncover this gift. Have a good night, guys. Much love to you. Always, always. I'm ending. I'm pausing the record. No, I'm